I don't know what you had for lunch, but I'm enjoying a delicious Schumer Shutdown burger. It's really, let me know if you want the recipe. It's a Schumer Shutdown burger. There's no meat, raw or otherwise. There's no cheese. There's no cheddar. Ain't nobody got no cheddar. It's just two pieces of bread with, empty hopes and dreams in between them. That's my Schumer Shutdown burger. You know what? It's actually not bad. It's actually fairly tasty. What's up? Pardon me. This is Mark K. Saves the Republic. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I think I did a boo-boo. Hang on, I'm gonna have to go over. I'm gonna have to roll over to the Rumble because I think I did a boo-boo on the Rumble. I don't know that the Rumble's up and connected yet. My associate has the day off today, and whenever the associate has the day off, I always forget that somebody has to do the work, and that somebody is me, because there's only the one of me. So it's gonna be. Hold on one second. We're gonna get to the Rumble here. Now here's the thing: the Rumble people are gonna miss the funny joke I made about the burger, but that's okay because maybe that's okay. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, or in this case, that's just the way the burger grills. Anyway, listen, we have a lot to get at. This shutdown, this Schumer. You know what? While we're waiting for Rumble, I'm gonna have another bite of my Schumer Shutdown burger, and I'm gonna be honest with you. For those of you that aren't watching online, and for those of you that are listening to the podcast, I literally have a bun. I have a bun, no burger in it, just no meat, no cheese, as I described, and I took a bite of it, and I was like, you know what? It's actually fairly tasty. So I'm gonna have while we're waiting for the Rumble folks to join us. I'm just having another bite. That's pretty gosh darn good. Hang on, why is it saying it can't connect now? I'm gonna have to check some out here. This is why I shouldn't be allowed to do anything on my own, because I'm what they call, the talent. And, that's the problem. Here we go. All right. I'm more what they call the talent. In the entertainment business, there's two types of people. There's the talent, and then there's everybody else. And I'm the talent. And as the talent, and that sounds exciting, right? But really what it means is you have no marketable skills outside of talking. You have no marketable skills outside. I don't know why Rumble's not connecting today, but it's not, for whatever reason, it doesn't want to. I've tried 5 times now to connect this thing. So Rumble, maybe we'll give it one more go. And then, there we go. Look at that. 30-second time's a charm. Anyway, as the talent, like I said, the talent, it sounds cool and it sounds like you get all the props, but here's the issue. You have no other marketable skills. Everybody else in the entertainment industry, they can do like 9 or 10 different things. So if a job falls through or whatever, and something else has to come along, then, they have options. But as talent, you're only really good at one thing. And some people aren't even good at that one thing. So anyway, now that I've had enough of my burger, I'm going to take my sip of my coffee, and then boom, here we go. All right. So the Schumer shutdown is in day 28. It's been 1 month now, 28 days since Chuck Schumer and the Democrats decided they were not going to allow everyday, average, ordinary Americans, hardworking Americans, people who, for whatever reason, decided to go into government work. And we like those people because a lot of them fight in our military. A lot of those people run our air traffic control centers. A lot of those people, process our taxes. All right, maybe not those. Maybe, and also I don't think those people are shut down. Why is it that the government jobs we want, like soldiers and air traffic controllers, are the ones that get shut down, but the ones we don't care about, like tax collectors, they still, and Congress people still getting paid. AOC getting paid. Hakeem the Dream Jeffries is getting paid. Chuck Schumer is getting paid. All these people, they're getting paid when hardworking Americans are not. And now that we're in day 28, it's just, I'm going to be honest with you, as not being a federal employee myself, I'm not negatively affected by the lack of a paycheck, because as an entrepreneur, I make my own way. But the fact of the matter is, there are things that are going to start happening. And if you haven't already noticed the changes, if you haven't already noticed what's been going on, there's going to be some things that are going to affect you negatively very, very shortly. And I have a list of all those here in just a minute. Before we get to that, though, let's start by subscribing to the channel, shall we? Whether you're listening on YouTube or Rumble or X or Facebook, our Facebook audience has been popping off. I think clearly Mark Zuckerberg is definitely a MAGA conservative, because for whatever reason, Facebook has just been exploding lately, and we really appreciate that. Also, don't forget Spotify and our iTunes podcast listeners who listen after the fact. And people ask me about this too, because, we do a lot of podcast training and things like that. We have a group of conservative entrepreneurs who we teach how to just blast out social media constantly. And one of the big questions I get is, what's the difference between a live podcast and a pre-recorded one? Basically, all my podcasts are pre-recorded, but this one I live stream the pre-recording of. So really what you're watching is one of the top 1% of podcasts being recorded live. It's very exciting if you think about it that way. If you think about it that way, you're listening to one of the top political podcasts, not just political, but of all podcasts. This podcast, Mark K Saves the Republic, is in the top 1% of podcasts worldwide. And you, as one of our followers on Rumble or Facebook or YouTube or X, wherever you are, get to watch me create it every single day. I know, it's totally exciting. Sometimes I wish I were in your shoes. But that's basically what's going on here. But it's not really a live podcast at all. If you're listening on iTunes, I recorded this hours before you're listening to it. If you're listening on Spotify, recorded this hours before you're listening to it. But it's still just as entertaining and poignant as it was the minute that the words came out of my mouth, especially since it doesn't look like this government's going to be opened up at any time soon. Now, President Donald Trump was in Japan, and this is how you know. By the way, there's a lot of various different pieces of, I guess you would say, what do you call it? Evidence, I guess you would say. There's a lot of evidence that shows that the Democrats are being blamed for this shutdown, and President Donald Trump is not. No matter how hard they try. They fight, man. The Democrats are doing their darndest. They're going on TV. They're lying about the Republicans. They're lying about Donald Trump. They're lying about this. They're lying about that. They're doing everything they can possibly think of to try and make this look like the shutdown is Donald Trump's fault. But it ain't. And if the men in the military and the women in the military aren't getting paid, they know it ain't because of Donald Trump. They know it's because of the Democrats back home. And we know that because President Donald Trump took a trip to Japan, and he stopped by the USS Washington, the George Washington, which is a large aircraft carrier that's stationed out there off of the coast of Japan. And Donald Trump decided to go and speak with and meet with the troops in the middle of a government shutdown where these sailors are not getting paid. And do you think that when Donald Trump lowered himself, by the way, Donald Trump had he had like the best entrance of all. Donald Trump, I mean, it was epic. He came down, those like, here, I'll just show you. He came down like the little aircraft carrier elevator, and all of a sudden it's lowering, and you see these jet fighters, and standing right between them, President Donald Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, and then... I mean, look at theirs. I'm not going to play Lee Greenwood because I'm going to get struck with a copyright violation. But look, I mean, that's it. Donald Trump, he knows how to make an entrance. He's on the top deck of the aircraft carrier. They lower the elevator. He goes down to the main deck. The troops are all standing there. They play the song. It's really incredible. Donald Trump's the only president. Joe Biden couldn't do it. He'd fall. Joe Biden's equilibrium would not allow him to stand still on an elevator in motion without him falling. That just doesn't happen. But listen to, this is how Donald Trump was greeted by the sailors on the USS George Washington yesterday.
What a group. All champions. USA.
Yeah, okay. Does that sound like a group of people who are blaming that guy for not getting their paychecks? Does that sound like a bunch of people who are like, man, this guy's keeping food out of our kids' mouths. This guy's keeping my wife from paying the bills back home, or my husband from taking care of beeswax while I'm out here fighting for our country. This guy's the root of the shutdown. This guy's the cause of all of America's problems. This guy's the worst. No, it doesn't sound like that at all. It sounds like the opposite. They look at him and they go, man, here's Donald Trump. Here's a guy who protects us, who respects us, who is fighting for us, who comes out here, who takes a time out of his busy schedule. Donald Trump is halfway across the world. He's meeting with Malaysians. He's meeting with Asians. He's meeting with the Japanese. He's trying to get billions and billions of dollars back here to the United States of America. He's meeting with President Xi Jinping of China, and he's trying to book a second gig, like a side hustle, to head on over to North Korea on a moment's notice, which is never really good when you're the president of the United States, to meet with little rocket man Kim Jong-un. But he goes, you know what I gotta do? You know what I gotta do? I am not going to skip the USS George Washington. I am not going to skip talking to the fighting men and women who keep this entire country, nay, the world, safe. And he said, I'm going out there, and they know it. They know that Donald Trump is not the cause of all of America's problems. He's the solution. And they know that the Democrats back home are the ones that have shut down the government. And you can tell by the way they chant and scream, Trump, 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 USA, USA.
What a group, what a group. All champions. USA.
Yeah, and here's the thing about this, too. Here's the really interesting thing about this. Donald Trump, he loves them, too, and they know it. Donald Trump loves these people. He loves these soldiers. He loves Americans. He loves America, and they know it. They know it. It's evident in every word he speaks, in every action he takes, in everything in every deal that he makes. Every breath he takes, every deal he makes, every word he speaks. Speaks? I don't know. You get it. And they know Donald Trump loves them because Donald Trump says it.
The sailors on this ship sacrificed so much for our country, and the president, and I will tell you, the president standing right up here loves you. I respect you and I love you. And I'm giving everything I have to make sure that when you get home, you find an America that is safe and proud and sovereign and free.
I mean, look at that. What a trade-off. What a trade-off. An America that is safe and what was it? Hold on, let me play it one more. I want to make that was a good line. That was a good line. Let's play that one more time.
The sailors on this ship sacrificed so much for our country, and the president, and I will tell you, the president standing right up here loves you. I respect you and I love you. And I'm giving everything I have to make sure that when you get home, you find an America that is safe and proud and sovereign and free.
Safe and proud and sovereign and free. Safe and proud and sovereign and free. SPSF. It's like SPF almost. Safe, proud, sovereign, and free. That's Donald Trump's trade-off. He's like, look, you guys signed up for this duty, and we appreciate it, even though you're not getting paid. You signed up to get on this boat, come on over here to Japan, sit out here on the water, near China, and just wait. Just wait for the stuff to go down. We don't know what's going to go down, but something's going to go down, and you guys are waiting for it, and I know that you're prepared. And as soon as the stuff goes down, I'm so happy that you guys are here. You're taking time away from your loved ones, from your family, from your homes. You're crammed into this aircraft carrier like a bunch of sardines. And I know I've slept on an aircraft carrier before. That's a whole other story. I know what it's like. That's cramped quarters. That's cramped quarters. And they're doing it for God knows how long. And Donald Trump says, I understand you're sacrificing. And you know what I'm doing? While you're out here working to keep us safe in the world, I'm back home making sure that when you come back, you're coming back to a country that is safe and proud and sovereign and free. Joe Biden never said that. I don't think Joe Biden ever visited the troops. When he did, he mumbled some gibberish, ate some pizza, went home. He didn't ever tell the troops, you know what I'm going to do? You guys, thank you for your service. You guys, thank you for standing the watch. You guys, thank you for putting yourselves between the United States of America and her enemies. I'm going to go home and keep this country safe and proud and sovereign and free. No, he didn't do any of that. You know what he said? You guys better get vaccinated or you're out of here. Get vaxxed or you get axed. That's what Joe Biden said. Joe Biden said, get the vax or you're dishonorably discharged. Or discharged. Was it? I think it was dishonorable. It was discharged. Either way, it was bad. That was the respect Joe Biden had for our fighting men and women. And they know the Democrats are to blame. We all know the Democrats are to blame. The Marxists. Mike Johnson, I got to tell you, this government shutdown is the best thing that ever happened to Mike Johnson, isn't it? Mike Johnson, he went from little tiny four-eyed goober who somehow fell backwards into the role of Speaker of the House of Representatives into super Republican. This guy, I don't know if he had a backbone, but it was covered up by that tight suit he was wearing. I don't know what happened. But they plucked him from the bayou and they shoved him in the speakership, and he's getting down to business. Listen to what he said about the Democrats yesterday regarding the shutdown.
See, they've made an evaluation that they have to appease the Marxist base, that they're so concerned that they'll lose their jobs if they don't appease the far left in their party. And they sat in a back room and they made the calculation that they would rather shut the government down and impose all this pain on the American people because they believe the Marxists, the far left in the base, are more active than hardworking Americans, people who go vote. And so they made the calculation that it's worth it to them. Every day gets better for us. We'll use the pain as leverage. For what? To prove to the far left base that they won't give in, that they'll fight Trump and fight the Republicans. What are they fighting? It's a clean CR. It's the same level of funding that they have voted for as recently as earlier this year. They are Biden-level policies and spending. This is not some Republican wish list. We don't have any of our priorities in this at all. It's the Democrats' own product. But they have decided to flip the script this time because they were getting too much heat from the far left.
All right, that's a great summation of what's going on. One thing that was not true, he said we don't have any of our priorities in this at all. We do, and that is opening the government, keeping the government open. That's the only priority that this CR has, is keeping the government open. That's the only priority the Republicans had, was keeping the government open. And now Mike Johnson is standing up there and he's saying they went into a back room, these guys, and they got out there and they were like, all right, here's the deal, huh? This is how they in the back room. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Hakeem Jeffries, the poet laureate of Brooklyn, the poetry slam master jam from Brooklyn. I don't care if you're Chuck Schumer with your old New York accent. I don't care if you're Hillary Clinton or AOC or Jasmine Crockett with your ghettoese, whatever it is. When you get in that back room, you start talking like a gangster from a 50s movie. All right, here's what we got. We got to figure out how we stay in power, that's Jasmine Crockett, by the way. That's how she speaks. Are we gonna side with the Republicans and vote to reopen the government so we don't get voted out by our constituents, or are we going to keep the government shut down, because that's what the far left Marxists want. And the far left Marxists, they'll primary us, and then we'll be out of jobs, and we'll have to go find some money somewhere else, and we won't be able to insider trade off of our stock tips. What do we do? That's how they all talk in the back room at Congress. But it's a valid point, and it's a great summation. The Democrats are scared of themselves. They're scared of the Marxist left. They're scared of the Zoran Mamdani loving AOCs and Bernie Sanders. They're scared of this two-tiered attack. They're scared that if they go back home, having voted to reopen the government, they're not scared that they'll get voted out of office by their own by the Americans who they're keeping out of work. They're scared that they're going to get voted out by the Democrats on the far left, the Marxists that are threatening to destroy them. And fun fact, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. So why not side with the Marxists? Because the Marxists are angrier and more violent. Look, these Democrats, I always say this, people always say, like, Mark, how do you say that? Listen, these Democrats are not stupid. They're evil, they're demonic, they're demented, they're calculating, they hate America, but they are not stupid. You can't get elected. You can't manipulate your power. You can't get filthy rich and not go to jail off of insider trading the way that the Democrats do, and some Republicans, if you're dumb. These are smart, dangerous people they know exactly what they're doing. And what they're doing is they are trying to scare the moderates in their party into towing the left-wing line, the Marxist line. The moderates in the party are towing the Marxist line because the Marxists are angrier and more violent and more vocal and more well-funded by George Soros than the moderates. The left-wing, they don't care. AOC will never be voted out in her district because it's just too blue. There's no, it's like Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi had a stranglehold on the party for years because she was from San Francisco and no one was going to challenge her in San Francisco. And if they did, they got crushed. Same with AOC. AOC she's now the East Coast version of Nancy Pelosi. And East Coast AOC knows she's not going anywhere. So she's going to drag all the moderates to the far left or else they're going to be ousted. It's that gang mentality. She's in there with, I mean, who are the moderate senators? Who are the let me just, I'm trying to think. In Georgia, Ossoff and Warnock are not moderate senators that by any means, but they are in Georgia, which is red, which went to Donald Trump, which has a Republican governor, very, very popular Republican governor. So when you think about these, Ossoff and Warnock, they could be facing a lot of pressure, especially because I believe John Ossoff is up for re-election and he's going to be facing some very serious primary challenges. So you got two in Georgia right there. And AOC is down there going, don't you dare reopen the government. And Ossoff's like, what could happen is I could lose my job. And she's like, I'll cut you, man. It's like, what do you want? You want to lose your job or your life? She'll cut him. She'll cut him off. She'll cut him at the throat. We already know that. There's already Democrats that are claiming they'll cut Republicans at the throat. Why wouldn't they cut moderates? To them, same gosh darn thing. John Fetterman, they've already written off John Fetterman. They've already got primary challenges to John Fetterman. They know what's happening with Angus King. I mean, all these people, they're going to attack. They're going to do everything that they can. And in the U.S. Senate, there are moderate Democrats. Let me see who else. Let's see. Probably, maybe Michael Bennett. Not Blumenthal. Not Cory Booker. He's a lunatic. Let's see. Maria Cantwell, no. Oh, Susan Collins in Maine. She's a Republican, but I mean, just barely. Hold on. Where am I looking? Chris Coons is safe. Oh, Catherine Masto-Cortez. She's already voting with the Republicans. Anyway, you got a bunch of these folks. You got a bunch of these folks, and they are petrified because they don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to lose their jobs. They know that they can, and they know, Maggie Hassan or Maggie Hassan, whatever her name is. All these folks, there's a ton of them, and the left is out. The left looks at Republicans and moderate Democrats the exact same way. If you're a Democrat but you're a moderate, they don't care about you, and they'll destroy you, and they won't lose a wink of sleep over it. And they don't care about America either. Look, here, this is from Politico. I think I titled this 5 ways the Schumer shutdown has destroyed America in just 1 month, but it's actually, there's 6. Politico writes, 6 ways the shutdown is about to get worse. With President Donald Trump traveling abroad and Congress still deeply divided over a path to fund federal agencies, a pileup of deadlines on and around November 1st is set to put many U.S. households at risk of new hardship. Popular programs that provide nutrition assistance, early childhood education, and air service to rural communities are now among those about to run out of money. Thousands of federal employees will also miss their first full paychecks this week, so services like TSA screenings and air traffic control operations could be further stunted if those workers stop showing up, as was the case during the 35-day partial shutdown that ended in early 2019. Things are about to get worse, Senate Majority Leader John Thune warned in a floor speech late last week. And that's to say nothing of the November 1st date that open enrollment begins for Affordable Care Act health plans. That's when people will start to see just how much their premiums are set to skyrocket because insurers aren't confident Democrats and Republicans will reach a deal to extend enhanced tax credits before they expire at the end of the year. Number 1, SNAP food aid. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Food assistance that more than 40 million people rely on, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. By the way, 40 million, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. That's a problem, but that's a problem for another day. We'll start to run out of money Saturday. The Trump administration won't tap emergency funds to keep those food benefits going, according to a memo obtained by Politico, nor should they. At least 25 states are already planning to cut off benefits which support low-income families. Low-income families, by the way, typically support Democrats. Head Start. Federal funding will stop flowing Saturday to some early childhood education programs supported by Head Start, the Health and Human Services program that funds education, health, and nutrition services for more than 800,000 children under the age of 6. More than 130 programs are set to miss federal funding, spanning 41 states and Puerto Rico, and serving about 59,000 children, according to the National Head Start Association, the nonprofit organization, blah, 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 blah. Loss of federal funding means some teachers won't get paid and some centers will close. After funding first lapsed October 1st, Head Start programs serving about 6,500 children didn't get their usual cash. WIC nutrition assistance. The administration already buoyed funding earlier this month for the federal. Listen to this. The administration already buoyed funding earlier this month for the Federal Nutrition Assistance Program that serves about 7 million low-income mothers and babies by redirecting cash from an account that funds things like school breakfast and lunch programs. But the coffers will dry up Saturday unless the Trump administration taps another $300 million in emergency cash for the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, commonly known as WIC. So, the Democrats shut down the government. WIC stops getting money. Donald Trump says, we're going to divert funds for WIC because it's important. He takes money away from school lunches and breakfast programs. And now that money's gone, and the Democrats still. Now, not only do you have women and infant children that aren't getting their services, but you got kids missing out on free breakfast and free lunch. All because the Democrats refuse to open up the government. Essential air service. The Trump administration has warned that essential air service, which subsidizes airline service to small, often rural communities, is likely to run out of funding over the weekend. Some airlines serving Alaska and other remote areas of the country might have to increase airfare to have enough cash to pay staff in the absence of federal subsidies. Now, these, by the way, are mostly red states. This is why the Democrats don't care. They're mostly red states. When you talk about these rural essential air services, Alaska, Wisconsin, well, maybe not Wisconsin, Wyoming, for example, Montana, those kinds of places where there's not a lot of air traffic, you're talking about red states. The Democrats 100% don't care about this. Military pay. Members of the military will miss paychecks Friday if Trump doesn't intervene like he did earlier this month, when he paid active duty service members by tapping about $6.5 billion meant for military research and development efforts. But it could be hard to make the same move again, since that pot of cash had about $10 billion left before the president pulled from it last time. Trump does plan to continue using other funding to cover military paychecks during the shutdown, according to White House officials granted anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. Pentagon officials also said Friday that they've accepted an anonymous gift of $130 million from a wealthy donor to help pay millions military salaries during the shutdown. We know who that donor is, by the way, but $130 million, that's, when you talk about how many men and women we have fighting in the armed services, that's barely anything. That's like half a day's pay for everybody. We need money. The Democrats aren't giving it to us because they're continuing to keep the government shut down. Federal civilian paychecks. Many civilian employees across government agencies will experience their first fully missed paychecks of the government shutdown Tuesday and Thursday, after some already went without compensation late last week, since there are different pay periods for various federal officers. Congressional aides, this is interesting, are among the people who will feel the pain, with House staffers due to miss pay Friday. Their Senate counterparts are set to go without compensation the following week. The lawmakers embroiled in the shutdown standoff, however, will continue to get their salaries on schedule thanks to the U.S. Constitution. So think about this. The senators who are holding out, who are not getting, or who are getting paid but are not opening up the government, those folks, they're going to get their paychecks no matter what, thanks to the Constitution of the United States of America. But their staffers won't. Their staffers are going to lose out. There's House staffers lose out today. or this Friday rather, and then next week it'll be the Senate staffers. And let's see how much the senators like it when their staffers don't show up for work or call in sick or just do a half-witted job because they're not getting paid and they're angry and they know it's their boss's fault. DC is not an inexpensive place to live. DC is pricey. These people are already shacking up with roommates that they don't like. They're having to, cut down on services. They're walking to work in the ice cold because they can't afford Ubers. It's not a cheap city. It is a very expensive city to live in. And if you're not getting paid, it's almost impossible. Senators are going to get paid. Their staff will not. Here's Kelly Loeffler talking about the pain points coming from the Small Business Administration, which will not be able to pay out small business loans.
But the pain is the point. Every single day of this shutdown has stopped 320 local businesses every single day from accessing $170 million in SBA loans for hiring and for expansion. Now, in Chuck Schumer's own state, that is $40 million every single week. In my home state of Georgia, Senator Ossoff and Senator Warnock shutting down $35 million in Main Street Capitol every single week.
You saw that? There you go. There are those names again. Warnock and Ossoff and Warnock in her home state of Georgia, which, by the way, she would have been a senator from if it weren't for Doug. That's a whole story for another day. I wonder if Kelly Loeffler and Doug Collins have bad blood between the two of them. I wonder if there's any, because they're in those cabinet meetings. It's such a small world, isn't it? It's such a small world. I wonder if they have any bad blood left in those cabinet meetings. I wonder if they sit on the opposite ends of the table. Yeah, you know what? It doesn't matter. They're both doing great. Today, Brooke Rollins talking about the SNAP benefits.
By the way, the SNAP benefits are about to end on Saturday. We don't have the funding to cover them. Meanwhile, Chuck Schumer is still getting paid. AOC is still getting paid. The elected congressmen and women are still getting paid. Their security team's not getting paid. The Americans, the 42 million Americans who rely on SNAP, they're not going to get paid starting on Saturday. I mean, this is so incredible that we are at this point in American history and that these people are not opening the government. It's just remarkable.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And also totally on brand. It's totally on brand. When it comes to helping Americans, there's one party that does whatever they can to do that, and there's another party called the Democrats. When it comes to making Americans' lives better, there's a party that will do whatever they need to do, and then there's the Democrats. When it comes to keeping Americans safer, when it comes to reducing the size of the federal government and the regulations so that Americans that want to start small businesses or build their own futures or chase that happiness that was guaranteed to us by our founding fathers, and oh yeah, by God, when that happens, there's one party that helps them out, and then there's the Democrats. The Democrats have, really, I don't know what else to describe. I don't know how you negotiate with these people. I don't know. Donald Trump is right to not negotiate with these folks because you cannot negotiate with terrorists. You cannot negotiate with the devil. You cannot negotiate with evil because you can't let it thrive anywhere in any form. And that's what these people are. Mike Johnson said it best. The Marxists are controlling the party, and the moderates are just powerless to stop them because they're too afraid. That's all it is. It comes down to fear. What we need is strong people in Congress, and we just don't have it. We have some, but not enough. We have some, but not enough. So the government shutdown. Look, these first 28 days. These first 28 days of the government shutdown, this first month, maybe it sailed by. Maybe you didn't notice any changes. Maybe you didn't notice anything bad, but you will. Those air traffic controllers, we're already starting to see delays. You're going to see more and more of them. I'm flying in November. Thanksgiving's coming up. I got family members flying home in November. Will they be able to make it? Thanksgiving Day. You know how many people travel on Thanksgiving? You know what happens if those flights are delayed or canceled? It's going to be mayhem. But that's what the Democrats like. They want mayhem. And keep in mind, they want mayhem for Americans so they can give health care to illegal aliens. Mayhem for Americans in exchange for health care for aliens. Mayhem Americans, health care aliens. That's what they want. That's their goal. Their goal is to try and create as much pain. This is, and it is, calling it terrorism is not hyperbole, because that's what terrorists do. Terrorists make you afraid. They make you scared. They make you fearful. They make you terrified. That's the root of the word. Terrorism. The root of the word is terror. And what is terror? Terror is not killing you, but it's making you terrified that you're going to get killed. That's why they would take airplanes and hijack them and fly them into buildings. People were afraid to fly. That's why when the shoe bomber was stopped from lighting his shoe on fire, that's why we started to take our shoes off at TSA, because people were terrified that somebody was going to sneak a bomb in their Reeboks or their BKs or whatever it was they were wearing at the time. Terror. It's not that they want to kill as many people as possible. It's that they want to affect your life negatively so that you're scared to go to the mall or the movie theater or a sporting event because you might get terrorized there. They don't want you to travel to certain countries. So they bomb Israel and cafes. Why? Because they want people to be scared to live their life that they want to live. And the Democrats are doing the exact same gosh darn thing. They are making you afraid to book plane tickets because your flight might be delayed. They're making you afraid to spend your hard-earned money because you might not have any coming in. They make you afraid to buy food because your WIC subsidies or your SNAP payments may get cut off. It's terrorism. And you just can't negotiate with those people because they'll use this same mechanism over and over and over and over again. There was a clip, I don't know if I have it, but let me see. I had a clip about one of the Democrats saying, I think it was this one here. Let's listen to this one and see what, I don't have it labeled, so here we go.
If Republicans shut down.
This is the one. This is Squawk Box. This is Joe, what's his name? And he's talking to Ruben Gallego. Is that Ruben Gallego? And he's asking him, what if the Republicans now want to do this next time the Democrats are in power, which hopefully to God that never happens. But listen to what he said.
If Republicans shut down the government next time Democrats are in charge to extract whatever it is that they happen to want. Are you saying that's okay? Are you saying that's okay if they do that?
I mean, the Republicans have done this quite a while, yes. Yeah,
Republicans have done this a lot. What did you say about it when they did it?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Oh, look at that. I don't know, and I don't care. Listen,
if Republicans
but I want you to listen to this one more time. This is Ruben Gallego talking about the government shutdown.
If Republicans shut down the government next time Democrats are in charge to extract whatever it is that they happen to want. Are you saying that's okay? Are you saying that's okay if they do that?
I mean, the Republicans have done this quite a while, yes. Yeah,
Republicans have done this a lot. What did you say about it when they did it?
I don't know, and I don't care.
I don't know, and I don't care. First of all, the Republicans have never done this. The Republicans have never been offered a clean CR with no amendments, with no changes, with no additions. They've never been offered a clean CR by the Democrats and said, look, this is just the same spending levels for like 6 more weeks. Let's just sign the thing and move on with our lives. And said no. They've never done that. The Republicans have never said, you know what? Thank you for this clean CR, but we're going to tack on $1.5 trillion to benefit illegal aliens who aren't even American citizens. They've never done this. Never has this happened. He's lying, by the way. He doesn't know and he doesn't care. He's right about that. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't care about anything. It's Ruben Gallego, by the way, from Arizona, a guy who should never have been elected and probably wouldn't have been if they had more election integrity in Arizona. But this is basically the Democrat mentality. We don't know what the Republicans would do in this similar situation, and we don't care. And if the shoe's on the other foot and the Republicans tried to do it, they would admonish the Republicans. They would cry bloody murder about the Republicans, but the Republicans would not do this. Republicans don't do this. Republicans negotiate. Republicans care about the American people, and Republicans say, look, is a clean CR the best option? No. Should we be funding the government? Yes. But if we don't, for whatever reason, and we have a clean CR, let's just all sign it. Let's just all vote on it. Let's send it to the president's desk so, we don't harm American citizens. We don't take food out of children's mouths. We don't make it dangerous and inconvenient for people to travel. We don't want any of that to happen. So let's just, act like adults. That's what the Republicans would do. That's what the Republicans would say. That's not what the Democrats do, and that's not what the Democrats say. And so we are now in a situation where we continue to see all of this stuff unfolding in front of our eyes. And the Democrats are 100% to blame. There's a couple of other things. I want to get to Donald Trump in Japan because I think it's pretty cool what's going on in Japan. But first, there's a couple of other clips here. This is Jon Stewart talking to Zoran Kamidami. And Zoran Kamidami was on the Daily Show. And Jon Stewart, who sometimes makes a lot of political sense and sometimes makes a lot of political nonsense, depending on the day of the week it is, had some very interesting comparisons for Zoran Kamidami.
I wish you all the best. Honestly, I think any New Yorker who looks at someone getting an opportunity, who's representing communities that have not been as represented, a Muslim, a young person, a progressive, a democratic socialist, there are so many different communities that are looking to you. And this, I hate to put it on you, as a bit of a Jackie Robinson moment. And I know that probably wields some weight, but man, oh man, what an exciting opportunity.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Now, I'm not going to pretend I'm not going to say that offends me, because it doesn't. But comparing Zoran Kamidami to Jackie Robinson, I have to imagine there's a whole lot of black voters out there going, whoa, hold on, Johnny. Zoran Kamidami, comparing him to Jackie Robinson literally broke the color barrier, not just in baseball, in professional sports. Until there were no African-American athletes anywhere in the country until Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson changed the face of the country forever. And it is truly a historic thing that he did. And he is a hero to a lot of people. And Jackie Robinson has often been celebrated because he integrated sports. I mean, there's no getting around that. And every other prominent black athlete after him from I was going to say, probably, I shouldn't say O.J. Simpson. From, from Jerry Rice, to Tiger Woods. I mean, anybody. It doesn't matter. If you're a black athlete, you owe a lot to Jackie Robinson. And for Jon Stewart to say Zoran Kamidami this is a Jackie Robinson moment? If I were a black person, I'd be totally offended. I'm not, though, either of those things. Because I don't have that much faith in Jon Stewart. But man, I got to tell you, that to me is a comparison that is, there's no comparison between Zoran Kamidami and Jackie Robinson, because Zoran Kamidami is a puppet of AOC and Bernie Sanders. He's a puppet of George Soros, and he's a puppet of the far left, he was lifted up simply because he was not. Jackie Robinson broke through because the man was skilled. He was powerful. He was strong. He understood the game. He played it better than anyone else. Zoran Mamdani is only being lifted up because he's a young Muslim. That's it. He's not a skilled city planner or councilman. He's not a skilled politician. He's not a great leader. He's not the kind of guy that can grab the helm of New York City, one of the largest and most populated and richest cities in the entire world, the center of arts and community and financial everything. I mean, you can't hand that to a guy just because he's a young Muslim, but that's what the Democrats do. Remember, it was Joe Biden who handed Ketanji Brown Jackson a Supreme Court seat simply because she was a black woman. And now she wasn't the most qualified. He didn't say, I'm picking the most qualified person. He said, I'm picking a black woman. And that's what he did. And luckily, we have a black guy named Clarence Thomas to teach her about the Constitution and stuff because somebody had to. She clearly didn't learn it in wherever she went to law school. So somebody had to teach her. And thank God Clarence Thomas was there. The other clip that I wanted to share with you was Nicole Wallace. I know. Nicole Wallace and JB Pritzker, JB the Hutt, was on MSNBC, and they were talking about Democrats calling Republicans Nazis and Hitler and comparing them to Nazis and, you know, all the stuff that they do on the daily, and listen to, man, you want to hear a whopper? Holy cow. You want to hear dishonesty? You want to hear a lie? This could be one of the biggest lies by one of the biggest men, and also Nicole Wallace, that I've ever heard in my entire life.
I haven't suggested that Donald Trump is Hitler.
Okay. I'm sorry. Let me play that. I got to start that one from the beginning. Here we go. Listen carefully.
I haven't suggested that Donald Trump is Hitler.
Okay, so JB Pritzker, JB the Hutt, is on MSNBC, and he's saying now, I have not suggested that Donald Trump is Hitler. Okay, let me go back, JB, let me go back here to the archives, and let me find the clip where he compared Donald Trump and his supporters to Hitler. Here we go. Listen very carefully. Let me switch it over here. Here we go. This will be just, I hope you guys have a minute, because
that is completely false. I have never called Republicans Nazis.
Everything that he has done has been tearing down constitutional democracy. And that's what happened in Nazi Germany. It doesn't take very long to tear apart a constitutional republic. Indeed, the Nazis did it in 53 days. And our democracy is almost as fragile. And we're seeing it right now. The dangers that we saw in Nazi Germany, especially in the earliest days of Nazi Germany, are the dangers that we need to react to now. If we don't, things will get much, much worse. And so we've got to raise alarm bells to everybody. It's a 5-alarm fire, everyone.
Yeah. And then there's tweets that pop up. This unhinged disgrace of the presidency just openly sympathized with Nazis on national television. When neo-Nazis marched on Charlottesville chanting, "Jews will not replace us," Donald Trump called them very fine people, and now he says it's all a lie. These are all over and over again the same thing. The way Donald Trump praises and romanticizes Hitler is unhinged, disturbing, and disqualifying. He is a dictator in waiting. We know exactly what he'll do if he's in power again. It cannot happen. In his first term, Trump said Hitler did some good things. In January, Elon proudly gave a Nazi salute. Yesterday, Representative self-quoted Joseph Goebbels, chief Nazi propaganda minister, on the House floor. They know what they're doing. It goes on and on and on and on. Yet here's JB Pritzker on MSNBC saying, whoa, I never did anything of the sort.
I haven't suggested that Donald Trump is Hitler. I wouldn't say
I don't think any Democrat has.
Whoa, come on. Okay. You were so close. You had a chance, Nicole. This is the problem with MSNBC. Hold on, my computer just logged up. There's a lot of problems with MSNBC, but this is one of the main problems with MSNBC. They have the opportunity to be journalists, and they don't, and they let it just pass right on by. They, like, the pitch came. It was a slow ball coming right over the plate. I've never compared Donald Trump to Nazis. And Nicole Wallace has the bat, and she could have swung at that. She could have taken a hit, and she could have knocked it out of the park. Like that guy in the 18th inning of the LA Dodgers game yesterday. That could have been the case. But she saw that pitch, that softball. I've never compared Donald Trump to Nazis, which was coming at her slow as molasses. Anybody, a blind man could have hit that. Ray Charles, if he were alive, could have hit that. Stevie Wonder, if he were alive, could have hit that. Wait, Stevie Wonder may be alive. It doesn't matter. Either of them could have hit that softball out of the park. Nicole Wallace, she just lets it go by. Strike one. She just lets it. She just, not only does she let it go by, she gets up out of the way. She like drops her bat and goes, I'm even going to help this one go by.
I haven't suggested that Donald Trump is Hitler. I wouldn't say
I don't think any Democrat has. I actually, and I think it's a smear that they project back on to critics. But J.D. Vance called Donald Trump cultural heroin. He called him America's Hitler. Yeah. I mean, the attacks on Donald Trump as a fascist came from 3 generals who worked for him. I mean, the most brutal critiques have come from people that have seen him far more closely than you or I combined.
I mean, that That's MSNBC. Ratings challenged for a reason. Ratings challenged for a reason. I mean, it is just crazy. And these are the people that are keeping the government shut down. You can't believe a word they say. They're lying about Donald Trump. They're lying about the shutdown. They're lying about did I download the Parima Jayapal thing? Here's what happened yesterday with these flights. Listen to
Today
this.
marks a big moment. For the first time, air traffic controllers will miss a full paycheck. The uncertainty is starting to take a toll. Just yesterday, more than 3,000 flights were delayed across the country. Some of that was weather related, but the DOT says as many as half those delays were related to the shutdown. Some controllers are calling out sick in protest or working second jobs to make ends meet. The largest union representing federal workers is calling for the shutdown to end so they can get paid. Here at SEA, you might see air traffic controllers handing out leaflets today. Their union says it's happening at nearly 20 airports nationwide to let travelers know how the shutdown is impacting safety and operations.
I mean, look at that. So these guys, they don't have enough money to work. They're taking second jobs, and then they've got the union members out there handing out leaflets. I mean, it's really, here's the National Air Traffic Controllers Association president calling out the Democrats specifically for the shutdown.
Day in and day out, that's now the life of an air traffic controller. The people tasked with making the impossible possible are having it made impossible by not paying them again. So the message is simple. In the shutdown today, there is no excuse that these hardworking men and women are showing up to do this job and to not ever know when they're going to get paid again. So we need America's help. We need you to stand up, and we need you to say enough is enough in this shutdown and ensure that we can move this forward, because we do not want to be up here telling you the sad stories. We want to be up here telling you how we're moving this system forward, how we're bringing in more air traffic controllers than ever, how we're modernizing this system to, serve the American people. So again, I cannot stress enough. If you want to take action, contact your congressional representative and tell them in the shutdown today.
Yeah, contact your Democrat senator is what he should have said. But, he's a union guy. So he's got to. I posted this. I had an idea about this shutdown. I think if Democrats refuse to pay air traffic controllers, they should not be allowed to fly. I think if anyone who votes against the government reopening and votes to continue to not pay air traffic controllers, they should not be allowed on airplanes. They should be escorted off. Like somebody who wears a MAGA hat used to be, or somebody who didn't used to wear a mask would be. In the old days, I'm old enough to remember when if you didn't wear a mask on a plane, they would haul you out and arrest you. If you wore a MAGA hat on the plane, they would ask you to take it off. And if you didn't, you were belligerent and you were kicked off and you weren't allowed to travel. And some people got lifetime bans from airlines. But yet these people who are making it more difficult and more dangerous for all of us to travel, they're still allowed on planes? Any elected representative, Senate, Democrat, Republican, I don't care. At this point, I don't care. Treat them all the same. Shame on the Republicans for not strong-arming the Democrats into voting this way. Here's the problem. And again, we talked about it earlier. By the way, let's see what people say. If Democrats refuse to pay air traffic controllers, should they be allowed to fly? Somebody wrote, you're in a cult. Make them walk. They can call an Uber since they are paying themselves and not everyone else. If the government shuts down, the salaries of Congress should go to paying the federal workers, whom cannot just stop going to work, the military, air traffic controllers, TSA, etc. I love that idea, Josh. D.D. Brown actually should stop off all flights together. I'll bet that changed their tune. Well, don't give them the clearance to take off. Tell them to hold. The airline should be paying the traffic controllers, not the taxpayers that don't even fly. Yeah, but then you know what happens is they jack up the price of the airline tickets for all of us, and I don't want that to happen either. But all great points. All great points. And the fact of the matter is, when it all comes down to it, it's because the Republicans they're not scary enough. The Republicans the Democrats who will continue to vote, those five votes that we need are from moderate Democrats in the Senate who are more scared of the Democrats than they are of the Republicans. They should be scared of the Republicans. We need scarier Republicans. That's what this all boils down to. We need scarier Republicans. We need angrier Republicans. We need Republicans who are more threatening. We need Republicans to tell Hakeem Jeffries, we're going to go and primary you. We need Republicans to go to these Democrat senators and say, we're going to do everything we can to get your ass out of office. Pardon my French. Well, I mean, the Democrats are doing it and they're getting their way. Clearly, these people are spineless. So if we had some Republicans who were scarier than the left-wing lunatic Democrats threatening these mid-range moderate Democrats into voting to reopen the government would reopen. But they know that the Republicans are weak. They know that the Republicans have no power. They know that the Republicans are a bunch of stuffed shirts. They know the Republicans aren't going to go into their districts and be loud and break stuff and burn things. So the left-wing lunatic communist Marxists have the upper hand, and they're the ones that control the moderate Democrats, not the Republicans. It used to be the Republicans could scare enough Democrats into getting their way. Now, there's nothing scarier than AOC. There's nothing scarier than Bernie Sanders. There's nothing scarier than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez flying into your town with the Fight Oligarchy tour, pulling some young Muslim up on stage and saying, vote for this guy instead of whoever's there already. There's no party loyalty. There's loyalty to the cause. And the cause is the ultimate destruction of the American Democratic Republic. The ultimate shredding of the U.S. Constitution. And if you're not for that, you're against that, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. That's what it all boils down to. Listen, we've got some amazing stuff going. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to play the Jayapal thing because you know what? I don't even care. But there's some amazing stuff going on. First of all, I have seen a resurgence ever since Donald Trump came back to office of interest in my book, Go Trump Yourself, 10 Ways to Live Like Trump in Any Economy. And especially with this government shutdown, if you're wondering how to make ends meet, how to figure things out, if you're wondering how to make some extra income in a bad economy, which, the economy's good, but you might not be getting paid, you need this book, Go Trump Yourself, 10 Ways to Live Like Trump in Any Economy. And you can get it instantly. You don't have to wait. You don't have to pay any shipping or anything like that. It's only $24 for the digital bundle. You get Go Trump Yourself, the ebook, which you can read immediately. You get the audiobook. So if you can't read or you don't want to read, I'll read it to you. It's read by the author. That author is, of course, me, Mark K. And this is available right now. GoTrumpYourself.com is the website. There's also a link in the description of this video. GoTrumpYourself.com is the website, or check out the link in the description of this video. Get yourself a copy today. Read it today. If you get Go Trump Yourself today, you can start living like Trump as early as tomorrow. GoTrumpYourself.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this, set the notifications. If you're on YouTube or Rumble, one of our video platforms, you definitely want to get this content every single day we bring it to you, and we bring it to you every single day. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, you definitely want to get this podcast every day that we bring it to you, and we bring it to you every single day. And the best thing is, if you follow or like us or subscribe, boom, it automatically gets delivered to your phone. So whenever you get in the car, whenever you put in your earbuds, it's right there. I'm right there waiting for you with my Chuck Schumer Shutdown burger. My delicious Schumer Shutdown burger, which I'm about to finish here in just a minute. All the information you need to know, all the ways that the Democrats are harming you, all the ways that you can fight back, all the ways that we can all fight back, because we all need to fight back, because it's the only way we will save the Republic. Also, we have a Patriot Club meeting. So if you're in the Patriot Club, boom, great, good news for you. Patriot Club meeting coming up a little later on today. The Patriot Club is for Patriot Club members only, and you can join at patriots.com. If you're a liberty-loving, freedom-defending patriot from anywhere in the globe, come join us for an extended hour, 30 minutes, usually like 30 to 40 minutes, of Mark K Saves the Republic. Patriot Club members only. Go to patriots.com. You can join for $10 a month, or, this is also cool, you could even get a year subscription and get